Right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So with us today, we have Schahrzad Morgan. Schahrzad, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Oh, thank you, Esther.
So, what can you say about yourself? What is your current position and your current life works?
I'm a sex worker, so I'm an escort, and I also have a porn page. And then I have a coaching business that isn't making me any money at all, but
the porn business is.
Yes.
So yes. That just goes to show what America's values are then.
Right.
Coach people, life improvement, not so much something people want. Porn, something people pay for even when they're really broke.
Yeah.
Is it now the coaching business, is that sex coaching or that's life coaching?
Life coaching. But the life coaching business, it's so hard to get clients in that industry. When in the sex business, people just flock, they just flock on in. And
I think it is definitely an easy sell.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know from personal experience. I can't imagine how you would recruit for the life coaching. Like, if you're going to walk down the streets and you see someone frustrated and crying, be like, here, I'll help you solve your problem.
No, but they still don't want it. That doesn't mean they want it.
It's true. There are plenty of people whose life isn't on target and who are frustrated, but they're probably more likely to solve it by going on a porn site than they are to go to a life coach. So you'll do life coaching while you're doing the porn, maybe.
Maybe that's what I should be doing. Yeah. That's what I should be doing. Yeah.
So what's your experience being an escort, and how long have you been an escort?
So I've been doing this for over 5 years, and it's a really fun job because I like sex. But I want to dispel a myth. Just because I like sex doesn't mean I go around fucking people all the time. I just have sex with clients. And it's empowering, it's fun, it's creative, it's really good money. I would say that in general, someone who's an escort you should expect to make at least $10,000 a month cash.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good money. And regardless of really how people look. In the porn thing, it's a little more difficult. There are I would say most of the ladies don't make that much money. There are a few that make most of the money, just like in any other business. But in the escort business, anybody can make good money.
Mm-hmm. Anyone, even really ugly people, can make good money.
Well, it depends on what you consider ugly. I mean, I don't think I'm that pretty. I'm pretty fit, and I'm older, so I'm kind of a niche category.
But I guess everyone has different taste. So yes. It doesn't matter whether someone's 22, 62, whether you're a size 2, a size 10. People are looking for different things.
That's right. People are looking for different things. And ladies can also have different niches. They could do full service, or they could just do massage or sensual massage. Or they could be a dominatrix.
What does being an escort exactly entail?
Well, basically having sex for money.
So it could be any number, different kinds of sex, but it's sex for money.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be full service. It could be just doing sensual massage, with a happy ending. Or it could be dominatrix work. The dominatrixes, they don't ever get naked. They don't ever let the clients usually even orgasm. So, and then there's also, for sex work, in-person sex work, I think those are the categories: massage, full service, dominatrix.
And what made you want to become an escort?
I just kind of fell into it. And
You fell
honestly,
into it.
I just fell into it. You know, honestly, I think that many women have that fantasy of being paid for sex. I
Does it
mean,
like, does it somehow like gratify an ego, or what is it all about?
well, let's see. Well, it's about money.
Yep.
It's about, and that lets me just work very few hours. And it's also about the way that it happens and how it feels. So yeah, there's, I feel, you know, wanted and desired for sure. But I also enjoy the encounters. And since I'm single, I don't have any guy to fuck. I have these clients. So that way I can have sex without feeling like I was used or some guy ghosted me because they're paying
Right.
me.
They're paying you. So that's the expectation, that you're just going to do what's needed and then be done. Just like I would do with like a client, like just like you do with a hairdressing client or any kind of client. So is like, how do people respond when they find out you're an escort?
They think it's super cool. Everybody thinks it's super cool.
So there's no real like stigma to it.
I haven't found any stigma, except with my dad. My dad has a stigma.
Your dad's not so cool.
And I would say maybe once a year, I will get an email from someone preaching something religious, or like a text telling me, you know, I'm so old and ugly. But that's very rare. That's very rare. Even the men who contact me, they're super respectful. There's a screening process that escorts go through, and some of them have a lot more requirements than I do. There's a screening process, like it's almost like filling out an application to get into graduate school. not
So
not
what
that
are some
extreme,
factors? So I mean, like, it should be selective though. Like,
yes.
so what are some factors that go into like the screening process?
Yeah, so the ladies want to feel that the person is safe and that the
Yep.
person is a legitimate inquiry. So there are these screening steps. So we'll ask, you know, their name, their occupation, their phone number, and a lot of ladies want employment verification. Like they want to verify that this person, you know, has this job and actually works there. A lot of ladies will want references from other escorts this person has seen. So if it's a first-time person, they don't have any references.
So you
But
might,
then,
if it's a guy and he wants an escort, but he's never used an escort before, some services may turn him away.
they might turn him away, or then they will look for other verification, and they'll want to know, where do you work? Send me your LinkedIn profile. Send me an email from your work email, like, you know, to verify the safety.
But
I don't
so
ask for
it's
all of
not
that.
really, so there's a safety concern that somehow can be alleviated by knowing that somebody has a job.
Well, that they are who they say they are.
Oh, so you want to make sure that this guy, you know, Josh Burns or whatever his name is, that he really is Josh Burns who works at this plumbing factory or whatever it is. You want
Yes,
to make sure that the
exactly.
person is not some other person so that you feel safe, basically.
Yes, yes. And different ladies have different ways that they use to ensure that they feel safe. For me, safety isn't my main concern. My main concern is this person actually really going to show up? Is this inquiry really a legitimate inquiry? And so I find that out right away by asking them when they want to meet. And someone who's a time waster doesn't know when. They'll just say, oh, you know, next week. A legitimate
it's like
client
that
has a
with any
specific.
kind of clients. It's like that with any kind of clients. I mean, it's a business. Like I get clients all the time who are like, I want to do a lesson. I'm like, well, when? Like, let's schedule it. I think that's a strategy with any business, that you want to get the session scheduled. Otherwise, there are tons of people that will waste your time and write and ask a ton of questions, and they never have any intention of using the services.
Oh yeah, that's exactly that. So we have, yeah, exactly, like in any business. And I think pinning them down to when do you want the lesson lets me figure out if they're serious, and also lets them figure out if they're serious. I used to get really annoyed with what I call time wasters, but I think people don't always know how serious they are until they're put on the spot. When do you want to see me? And then I also ask for deposits now. That also eliminates either the time waster or the person who's not sure if they're serious. Kind of lets them check in. And that way I don't get any no-shows. So that works pretty well.
So what are like some of your selling points to get people to make that appointment?
You know, it all comes down really to the pictures, I think.
It comes down to the pictures.
Yeah, because the way that men find us, if you Google escort, whatever city, these different websites come up where we advertise. So it's like a classifieds, you know.
Sure.
So we pay to advertise on these different websites. It's not that our website comes up. It's not going to come up. So these different websites come up, and then they go through the pictures.
So it's like an escort directory, kind of like a face going on, like putting your stuff on social media, but it's the social media for escorts then.
Yeah, they're websites. And then also escorts can have an Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, so that other people can verify that we're real. And then there are review sites where clients can leave reviews about us. There are 3 main ones. And I have links to those on my website. That way people they choose an escort based on the service that they expect and the attractiveness. You know, so the pictures and the reviews are really helpful. And then also, I think how friendly we are. I don't know how much of a factor that is.
I would think that, like, if they're calling you, they're already like what they saw on the website. So as long as you guys don't make any major blunders, they'll probably take you on and hire you, I would think. And it's probably like a very visual process. Like if they like what they see, they're probably going to take you on.
Yes, if they like what they see. And then a lot of them will also read the reviews, because there could be someone who's attractive, but maybe she doesn't give good service, or maybe her pictures are old. So they kind of have to verify based on the social media and the reviews.
Is there any training for escorts?
Any what?
Training. Is there like a training for this?
Oh, no, there are no training, no classes.
No training.
I had to figure all this out on my own. You know, like one question that always comes up is, how can I get more clients? I always want to get more clients.
Why not?
Lowering my prices will do it. I don't want to lower my prices. So I've been experimenting. I don't have anyone teaching me. I've been experimenting, and sometimes other ladies will give me different tips, like that the reviews matter. I just learned that recently. I play around with the photos. Now I have a whole new set of photos where I show hardly any skin at all. And my business has really picked up. I don't know if it's coincidence.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like you're kind of a mystery then?
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of guys don't want to just fuck the scantily clad cam girl. Right. They want to fuck the woman next door, or the lady at the office, or, you know, just women that they see in real life, the woman in the yoga pants. And so there's an appeal to us. Men are attracted to us sexually, even when we're dressed.
Because it's true, you seem more like relatable. Like it almost seems like someone that really could be their girlfriend or their wife, versus, you know, someone that looks like someone they would date, maybe.
Maybe. I'm curious what goes into it for them, for men. And also, you know, people are very attractive with their clothes on too. I guess
Yeah.
I used to think I had to show a lot. Now on my porn page, I do show a lot. But in
I
my
would think so.
ads, you know, they kind of, I did my last set of ads with a bunch of photos like in more office attire. And men that have been seeing me lately have been asking me to wear office attire. So I know that they saw those pictures. And a lot of men love a woman in office attire. Like that's a huge turn on, more than just the bikini.
Is
I
it
don't
that
know. So,
fantasy of like maybe the fantasy of your forbidden coworker and screwing your forbidden coworker and like fucking them on the copy machine? Is it all about that then?
maybe I should get a copy machine in here.
Yeah, like is it something like that?
It
I
probably
wonder,
is.
like maybe it's something like that. Do you
Yeah.
have any notable memories from the experience?
Uh, you know, the men who ask for something kinky are very rare. I guess the guy who liked the golden showers, I remember the guys who like me to fuck them with my strap on.
Wow.
The guy who came in here and sat down and just told me, you know, that I was his therapist and he wanted to role play it, tell me how, and he started stroking his cock for me. But those are rare. You know, the majority of people want very regular sex.
Just very vanilla sex is what the
Yeah,
majority of the people want. So
they
it's just
want
like
very vanilla.
but then like, why do most of them choose an escort? Is it that they don't have time for a relationship? They can't get a girl to fuck them? Like, why do you think most of them get an escort?
Okay, so let's go into the married guys. So the married guys, maybe half of my clients are married, and for them,
Okay.
a small percentage just wants some variety.
Yeah. You
That's
can't
very
eat chicken
small.
every night.
Yeah, that's a very small number. Usually, and then maybe that's 5%. Then maybe 10%, they have great sex with their wives, but they like sex a lot more than the wife does, or lately the wife's been
Yes.
preoccupied. But the majority of the married men, their wives no longer have sex with them, stopped having sex
Right.
with them years ago. Even I had someone that had been 20 years since he and his wife had had sex.
Wow.
And so they and then, you know, they also want touch, and they want it's not just about getting off. They want, you know, the whole thing that goes, like the people that come to see me are looking for a sensual encounter. I'm sure there are women that are more like porn star experience, so they want a lot of touch, they want a lot of kissing. They just want to go on a sexual adventure. And then the other half, I would say, are men who are single. And now for single men, the way to get sex is they have to go out, meet women.
Yeah.
You know, they have to have a pickup game. They have to invest time in going out and meeting women, either online or in person. And
Sure.
then they might start dating a woman, and after 3 or so dates, she still doesn't want to have sex. And now it's
And they're
been,
like,
you know,
fuck
months since they had
this.
sex. Or they don't want to just sleep around and get some girl attached to them, and this is just more convenient. If they don't want to do the whole pickup thing,
I
assured
mean, maybe
sex,
they don't have
convenience.
either. So I guess either they don't have any game and they don't know how to approach women, or they're just too lazy for it, or they don't like doing that. I mean, I guess it's kind of like avoiding doing your laundry, is what it's sort of like in a way. It's like you just don't
Yeah,
want to go to the
maybe.
bars and pick up women.
Right. There's some guys who are really good at that and who like doing that, but other men could be, you know, more focused on their careers. They don't really, or they work a lot and they don't invest time in going out and meeting women at bars. Yeah, I think to get laid, I think guys have to meet women at work, at bars, or online. And the only guys that do well online are like the super hot ones, the top 20% that all the women want. The other guys aren't going to
Right.
get laid online. And then when you go out and meet women, you have to have some kind of a talking game.
Yeah, you gotta like know how to, engage them, and like, it's like a hook and liner kind of thing. You've got to really bring them in, and they've got to take the bait.
Yep.
And I mean, as women, we're very discriminatory and discerning, and
yep.
we're not going to just take any guy up on his offer to go out to his place just because he bought us a drink.
Right.
They've got to do a little bit more than that. Because for women, there's a lot more at risk, really. Like,
there isn't. Yep.
There's a lot more at risk. Number one thing, if is that you could get pregnant, and no matter how you slice it, that's more of a risk for women than for men, because whether a woman decides to go through with the pregnancy or abort the child, it's more of a risk, and you could get pregnant. So that's a big thing, but it's just a lot more on women. So therefore, women need a lot of convincing to just go with a guy and fuck him. And it's true that in the dating thing that women will probably hold out longer before they're going to agree to fuck a guy. He's got to like really, pass muster with her and, prove to her that he's not a psycho and that he's got a job and that he's a decent human being before she agrees to spread her legs. So,
yeah, that's true. And also, I think that women, we know we get more easily attached. So we want to kind of make sure the guy likes us.
Yeah.
Because a guy can just go around fucking and just go on his way more easily than we can.
It's true. So, given all that, it probably is very hard for some guys to get laid. So,
and some guys don't. And some guys are just, there's this myth that men are just these fuck boys, but there are men, and there are men who are really good in bed and really passionate. They don't like to do that whole, I'm going to take a girl home and increase my notch count. They rather just have sex in a relationship. They rather be in a dating situation. And so they may not have sex because they haven't come into that dating situation. Not all guys like to pick up women just for sex.
That's good. Yeah, that's true. I mean, everyone is different in their patterns.
Yeah.
Do you have any regular clients, or are people just a one-off type of deal?
I do. I just want to say one more thing about what makes men call an escort. Sometimes men want a woman that they could never get in real life. Like, think about the 70-year-old who wants the 20-year-old Barbie, or think about a younger man who wants an experience with an older woman. It's really hard for younger men to find older women to have sex with them. So that's another category I get, is the younger guys. And then for regulars, there is no such thing as a regular who comes twice a week or once a week. It would only happen if the guy was really into the woman, like falling in love with her, I think. So if I see someone who's a regular, they will see me once a month because there's a budget. People have a budget.
I assume so.
Yeah. And so my rate is $400 an hour, $700 for 2 hours. So I have some people that will see me once a month for an hour or once a month for 2 hours. The dinner dates are really rare. It's another thing. Ladies will sometimes say, oh, how can I want to be an escort. I want to be paid to go out to events and go to dinners.
That's what old girls dream of, for sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I would like that too. It's just very rare. They usually will pay for 1 or 2 hour appointments. Those are the most common. Half hours, I don't offer them anymore, but there are not that many people who do this regularly, because I think it's the expense. And then I think they also maybe sometimes I think they feel guilty. Or like, I shouldn't have to pay for sex, or what I'm doing.
I could imagine. I can imagine that people feel that way, that it's like almost like a sign of defeat if you're saying, well, I'm throwing in the towel and I'm just going to pay for it because, I can't get it any other way. And
yeah, so the guys that are regular, if I think about it, they're either older or they're married. So I think for the married guys, they can justify it. The single guys kind of drop in and out. If they, if I haven't seen someone in 2 or 3 years, it's because he was in a relationship and now he's out of the relationship. Yeah, that's a good point. They probably have throwing in the towel because they would rather just get it for free if they could.
I would think so. I mean, we like to get our internet for free. We like to get free porn. So why not free sex?
Yeah.
And I guess with girls, it would sort of be the opposite, where girls would probably not pay for sex, but they'd pay a man to come sit with them and eat with them and talk to them about all the things that bother them. I'm willing to venture the girls would probably be more likely to pay for that, or pay for like a boyfriend ringer to kind of come with them to their family dinner and pose as the boyfriend and meet the family. I'm willing to venture that girls would be willing to pay for that, more likely.
Yeah, the more relational aspects. And that's interesting too, because when it comes to dating, the men want sex right away, right? Women will complain, oh, these guys online just want sex. But I think as women, I think that we want to feel too much right away. I think that we get too easily attached.
We get too easily attached.
Too quickly attached. And then the only men that are going to like that are men who want to use that to their advantage, because a healthy man doesn't like it when a woman gets too easily attached. And that was always my pattern that I'm just, realized it recently, is that that turns guys off. They can feel it, even if it's just a slight little bit.
So why doesn't somebody like it if you get too easily attached?
I think they feel smothered by it. It's the same way I don't want a guy.
Oh my God, you're like my. So it's kind of like, oh my God, you're like my mother. Give me some space. I just want to play video games and have some pizza.
I don't know. I'm just
or something, or whatever it is they're into.
Well, I'm just going by the fact that it kind of backfired on me. If I would get attached to guys, they wouldn't like it. And I know that talking to my girlfriends who said, oh, I had this great date last night, this wonderful date, and he hasn't texted me, or he's still online looking at other profiles, because in her mind, she's like already engaged to him and he just had one date and now he's, studying or working in the garden and she's already marrying him just too quick.
So what are some ways you think you messed up?
Or I messed up?
Yeah. Where you feel you got too attached, or what did you do that you felt was too much?
So what I would do, I had these myths in my mind of, like this perfect guy, and I would fall for a guy based on like his online profile. This happened very rarely to me, but it was happening. Or he was really good in bed. And then I would project all this longing onto him, or this perfection, or this desire of wanting. And I would abandon myself. And I would just be thinking about him all the time. And the more I thought about him, the more I abandoned myself, the more I felt this neediness. I didn't even know the guy.
You never met the dude?
It happened a couple times when I never met the dude.
And you just loved what he wrote. So clearly this guy has a future as a screenwriter or something like that, because he just wrote something that was brilliant and you were hooked. Or he had a great
or his photos were just
amazing. Even though a lot of photos, people don't look like their photos, but.
Yeah. And, I wrote about that in my book, my memoir. This one guy I really fell for online. And when I met him finally, he was like a total loser, but it took me a while to get to this point. I did a bunch of inner child bonding work recently. That's helped, because I'm dating this young man now, and I haven't.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah.
So you're dating a 25-year-old.
Yeah, but it's not, yeah, I guess it's dating, but not exclusive.
So why aren't you guys exclusive?
I think that, well, I've only met him a few times. I've only met him
Got
3 or 4 times. And he's younger. I think that he's online dating other women, and he should. I don't want somebody to be exclusive with me unless that's what he wants. And I think he's too young. I think, when I start dating a guy, all these things come up about my job and my sexuality, and I don't like that. I'm trying to break all these mind patterns around, I'm dating you, so I can't fuck other guys. I pledge my, loyalty to you, and seeing men as these needy beings that have to be, that have to be assured of my sexual interest and my sexual fidelity. And I'm trying to let that all go. It's been like a really hard process, Esther, because
Well, would
these
you
thought
have to
patterns are so deep.
if they want loyalty though, would you have to give up your job then as an escort?
See, that's why I don't want to be in any situations where I give up any part of myself to trap myself in a relationship. I think that in my marriage, I was married 25 years, I felt trapped. Not that he trapped me, but I trapped myself with the whole story of what married life is about and what I could and couldn't do. And there's so much obligation to the family that, things I couldn't talk about or things I didn't think I could say. And I felt like such a loss of freedom. I think relationships can bring such a loss of freedom. Anyway, I'm working through all this attachment stuff because in October I fell for this guy super, super bad that I didn't even have sex with. And I lost myself. So I was trying to unwind this and be like, I never want to lose myself this way again.
Well, what does it really mean to lose yourself? Like, isn't that kind of okay? I mean, in a way, isn't that kind of okay? In a way, like, we all lose ourselves in different things because we're really passionate about them. Like, we can lose ourselves in our work, we can lose ourselves in a book. Like, to some degree, we always do, and we can't always control ourselves, I think.
Well, this particular person brought out a lot of insecurities in me because he didn't have integrity and he didn't keep his word. Right. And again, I had developed these feelings for him based on had projected. And this is what I had to learn. I had to learn to stay in the present moment. I was projecting this fantasy onto this guy, and we were doing a lot of texting, and I was bonding. I was bonding with him through the texting. And that's what I'm not with this guy. I think why it's going better is there's no texting at all, except for when we're scheduling a date. There's no texting because through the texting, I bond with these guys.
Right.
And also, I had to understand how men see sex. I used to think that passion they brought me in the bedroom was a personal love toward me, but it's not. The passion that men bring us, the interest they bring us, is to them, it's just visual and physical. And I can't even tell how much he's into me until after he's come and he comes back to his senses. And then only then can he really know how much he's into me.
So you're saying that when you're not like in bed with someone and how they are then with you can determine how they really feel about you?
Yes. I think when they're not in bed. So after he's come, does he want to get out of there, or does he still want to stay with you and talk with you or take you out or plan the next date? So that's a big one. And then also, does he want to see me even when he's too tired for sex?
Right.
That lets me
Well,
know.
it sounds like you have a lot of good indicators that can really show you how someone feels about you and then guide further actions. It sounds like you're really like founded in this way. Like you
I'm
know
trying, Esther.
what
I'm
to look
trying
for.
because I'm tired of like, see, every woman we all have different patterns. I don't go for men who are abusive, but I've gone for men. I've pined over men who are unavailable, emotionally unavailable, and now this man that I'm dating, he is available. He replies to all my texts, and I'm noticing I don't have that lost feeling because he replies. But then in a way, his replying almost makes him too available. And I'm like, maybe I don't want him anymore. So I'm noticing what's coming up for me is, whoa, because he's available, now I don't want him, like, what's that about?
I guess it can be that we're like shocked by it, or we're like, well, why would they be available to us? Like, do they belong in a mental institute or something? Like, I mean, but yeah, there's, like, are they insane? So I guess that does come up, but I guess like it's sort of rare that people are available.
I know. Yes.
Like it's sort of rare that people will write to you and return your text. Like that is sort of a little rare these days. Like for people to consistently write to you, that in itself is a real like rarity. It's almost like affordable housing in New York City. It's that kind of a rare thing where usually people, aren't that available because, whatever, they're talking to 9 million girls, or they're, watching porn, or they're playing video games, whatever else they're doing. A lot of people just aren't available whatsoever. So availability is like a real rarity.
I know you make a lot of really good points. Yeah, you're right. I've been single 7.5 years, and I haven't dated anyone in these 7 years. Yeah, I had guys I fucked once or twice. I had
but
guys
never anyone on an ongoing basis.
No, I've gone out on dates, but I never kissed the guys I went on dates with except one, and I didn't even fuck him because I didn't want to. So I've never had a guy that I had sex with and went out with. Like this is my first experience with it, because like you say, I would like all these guys that would just blow me off. They'd have sex with me. They would blow me off and ghost me or block me. And then there were men that were interested in me and I wasn't interested in them.
We don't have to like everybody out there.
What?
We don't have to like everybody out there just because they like us.
Yeah, but this availability thing, I think, only happens if two people are interested. But now I'm like, I don't know how interested I am in this guy. I don't know how interested he is in me. So you can have this availability, but what's your actual interest level in this person? I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think it was easier to date people before all the social media, when we were still like interacting more in person, especially in college, because you see the same people every day on campus, or you see the same people every day at work. And now these people we're dating, we might see them once every 2 weeks.
So we don't have a feel of who they really are, where you're right. Like in college, the guy from the dorm room, we saw him a lot in the study hall, in the, dining hall, whatever. And when you meet people in college or at work, you can really get a feel of who they are and what kind of values they have. Are they responsible? Are they respectful? Because you see them a lot in real life, so you can really like observe them. Whereas with social media, whereas with people now, we may not see people a lot. Even if we see them on Facebook every day and we see what kind of things they're posting, that could all be a fake facade. You know what I mean? It might not really be who they are just because they post these different things. You could have almost a made up life when you're on Facebook. You could be posting all these things and it may not really be reflective of who you are. Yet when you work with someone, you can see, you know, are they respectful of their coworkers? Do they take pride in their work? Are they responsible? Are they open to discussing things? You can learn a lot about what kind of a person someone is from working with them. And from social media, you don't know much about them. And someone could paint a worse picture of themselves on social media where they could be stupid and they'll start fights with like random strangers about, you know, Trump or something. And then they look like this crazy, mean psychopath because they start a fight because someone doesn't share their view on immigration. And then they look like an asshole. And it's not good to base things yet, because we hear so much from people on social media. If they're a participant, we feel like we really know this person, and maybe we don't. And like the other big problem with today's society is that people don't talk to other people. Like, you know, it used to be you'd be at the gym, you'd be at a friend's party, something like that, and you liked someone, you started to talk to them because you saw them, you talk to them, they'd ask you out, and then you'd start going out. Whereas now, people don't really want to talk to others. It's like if you start talking to some people and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, I don't know, someone walking in the park or someone you're waiting online with at a bagel store, they would be like, well, what? Like, how dare you interrupt me from my screen time? Why are you talking to me again? Like, people don't want to necessarily, it could easily be that a guy could swipe right on you on a dating app, and if he saw you walking down the street, he'd ignore you. And you could be wearing the same exact outfit and look the same. He could see your picture on a dating app, swipe right, see the same you, and he'd just walk right by you. You know, because people just don't want to talk to people. So they're just hoping they'll find someone on an app and boom, they'll just drop down from the sky and they're your person, and nobody really wants to make the effort. And that's the one thing we've got to change about society to make better connections with people, which should be our goal. To make better connections, we've got to really make an effort to get people to interact more.
Yes.
And get people off their phones and be like, I don't know. I would think that if they took everybody's phones away for a couple hours every day, they say, everybody, you have to turn in your phones for a couple of hours. You're not going to be looking at your phones. If we did that, I would think if we did that and we said every day 2 hours, you're not looking at your phones, more happy relationships would form. If for 2 hours, the whole world's not going to be looking at their phones, you're going to be talking to somebody, you don't look at your phone, we'd have a better world where people could create like more meaningful connections, whether it's for a friend or a date.
Yes. That's a really good advice.
You know, just drop your phone, don't look at it. You know, and I'm guilty of this too, where I'm looking at my phone too often and life is passing you by. Like,
yep.
And what is there really on your phone?
I do that too. And I think I want to say, putting the phone away, I've been working on that on myself. Like, what would I do with my day? What would I do in this moment if I don't check my phone? So I've been actually practicing piano more and cooking more and baking cookies more.
Isn't that feel better?
I'm on this quest to get off my phone because I'm on it way too much also. I want to say something else about the texting. I think that I know couples have told me that they argue more over texting. Couples have told me they use texting only for scheduling things, like their conversations happen in real life.
Right, like just details things, but not ideas.
Right. And I think a really good advice for people who are on dating apps or anyone who's dating is to absolutely only use the texting to schedule dates, because that really weeds out the people who want to see us, because there are so many people on those dating apps that just want a texting buddy.
Yeah.
And I think the last guy I fell for, he was texting me so much, and he was saying things, I really like you, Schahrzad, a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but he wasn't scheduling another date at all. And when I finally pushed him on that, he made a date which he didn't even show up.
Damn. All right. What's his number? We're gonna hunt him down.
And you know, there are other guys who are like, oh my God, I can't believe some guy would blow you off. Yes, they blow me up. But I made the mistake of bonding with him over the texting, because a real guy who wants to date me is going to want to see me. He's not going to be busy doing all that texting. And second, doing all that texting bonds people in a way that they shouldn't bond. I think people should bond based on real things, like the things you were saying, observing someone in their real life, how they live their life, and getting to know that person, not on a fantasy and a projection and all this texting. And I think that's where people probably get their feelings hurt, because they're bonding. We're not meant to bond over letters and texts. I don't think
you have to like see each other, and you have to, it's true, you have to like hear someone and see them to really get a feel of what kind of a person they are. And you know, it's true that a lot of people go on these apps and they have no intention of ever meeting anybody. Yes. They are just looking for a texting buddy. And that's why you got to, in some ways, nail someone down like right away and be like, so when are we meeting? And you just kind of say it like it's a broken record. And if they can't come up with a day to meet because things are that bad, then, you know, their life's that busy, then that's it. Like, doesn't matter. Like, you know, who are they? Like Barack Obama? Like, you know, they should be able to come up with a day. Even if they are Barack Obama, they should be able to find a day to meet you. So we're going to have to wrap this up in like soon. But what are some final thoughts you want to say?
Final thoughts would be, I think that everybody can benefit from learning to love their inner child, their inner self.
Right.
And being kind and appreciative of ourselves, because, and then think of giving other people the overflow of the love we have for ourselves. That's a constant practice.
Cool.
That's it. That's my final thought.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Oh, thank you, Esther, for gracing me with this interview.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.